Before the 1920s, there was widespread poverty, violence, and the worst of all, disease. And unlike today, there were only few treatment options available: inoculation and antiseptic. In London in the early 1920s, a young bacteriologist by the name of Sir Alexander Fleming, while discarding bacterial cultures from a failed experiment, noticed a mold growing in one of the petri dishes that inhibited all other bacterial growth around it. And through further analysis and experimentation, penicillin, the first antibiotic, was born. With many failed attempts, Sir Fleming tried to create a pure form of the drug that could be injected into the human body, but nonetheless developed that which could be used to treat exterior wounds. The human-safe injected form of penicillin was not created until the early 1930s by Howard Florey and Ernest Chain's experiments. This represented the birth of the antibiotic age, and now, approximately 87 years later, we grimly look into what we hope is not the end of this period. Here's an interview with fundamental information about antibiotics and antibiotic resistance.
That a lot of our antimicrobials are made by microorganisms. Most of these are soil microbes, and they're basically carrying out chemical warfare on the competing bacteria. They're all competing for the same food, and some of them realize that if I make this stuff that kills off all the other stuff growing around me, then I get all the food. Every antibiotic has a target in the microorganism. Penicillin, for example, disrupts the ability of bacteria to make parts of their cell wall. Bacitracins, cephalosporins, vancomycin all do the same thing. There are other drugs that disrupt enzymatic pathways in organisms. There's other drugs that make microbes unable to make DNA or unable to... the microorganisms learn, some of them produce enzymes, for example, penicillinase, which destroys penicillin, so it's not going to work. Some of them actually develop pumps to pump the drug back out of their cells. Some of them change their structures so the drug can't get into their cells. Some of them change the enzymes that the drug was targeting.
As with every societal problem, we then have to figure out who is to be blamed. Is it the food industry, the general public, or the healthcare system? Let's take a look. 79% of all antibiotics we consume are found in our foods. However, the healthier alternative, which is organic, costs a lot more. These are common mistakes we make as members of the general public. These are simply few contributions the healthcare system has made to this issue. Some consequences of antibiotic resistance. As we have discussed the socioeconomic effects of antibiotic resistance on our daily lives, we'll now look at some preventative measures we can employ every day. We can wash our hands regularly, disinfect machines that are open for public use, use sanitizers when water is not available, take all medications as prescribed, practice good hygiene, wash all clothes and sheets with detergent and make sure they dry properly, and choose to purchase organic foods. There is a medical support technique being used, which is called dual treatment. This is where 2 or 3 antibiotics are used to treat a specific condition. This is done since it is more difficult for a bacterium to get resistant to 2 or 3 antibiotics at the same time. There are also advances in research where scientists are looking into the genome of these antibiotic-resistant bacteria in order to find different methods in which they can combat these conditions. Now, we're going to go into a jingle, which I hope you enjoy. Everybody be wise. Please take your antibiotics as prescribed. Don't skip another time. Effective drugs, low resistance too high. Everybody be wise. Please take your antibiotics as prescribed. Don't skip another time. Effective drugs, low resistance too high. Education brings prevention, less infection, cause less isolation. Only 2 drugs less for this case. Protected sex, decrease the clap rate. Pussy protuberance, swimmers adrenaline glands. Cover your wounds and sanitize your dirty hands. For the antibiotics that remain, use, don't abuse this and what the doc say is. Everybody be wise. Please take your antibiotics as prescribed. Don't skip another time. Effective drugs, low resistance too high. Everybody be wise. Please take your antibiotics as prescribed. Don't skip another time. Effective drugs, low resistance too high. Thank you for watching. My name is Venicia.